What is this? If you said dirt, you might be right. However, to scientists, it depends where it is. If it's under your fingernails or all over your shoes, it's dirt. However, if it's in the ground helping plants grow, we call it soil. There are 3 different mineral particles that make up soil: sand, silt, and clay. We know sand from the beach or a sandbox. These particles are large enough that you can see them without a microscope. Silt feels a bit like flour when you rub it between your fingers and is 10 times smaller than sand. It's so small you can barely see it. Clay particles are the smallest particles. They are 100 times smaller than sand particles. They are so small you need a microscope to see the individual particles.
Although they aren't to scale, let's use some common athletic equipment to visualize and study soil particle size. To get an idea of relative size of soil particles, here is a basketball that represents the largest soil particle that you would find in a soil profile, which is sand. This softball represents silt, and this golf ball represents the relative size of clay found in the soil profile. Can you see how the larger soil particles would have larger air spaces between them? Imagine a bunch of basketballs crammed together versus a bunch of golf balls crammed together. The pore spaces would certainly be of different size. These large air spaces allow air and water to flow easily between the particles. The smaller the particle size, like clay, the smaller the air pockets or pore spaces, and as a result, water flows more slowly through the soil profile. Remember, in the real world, these are microscopic particles. You could not see a grain of clay with your own eye, but you could probably see a grain of sand. As you know from visiting the beach, water flows very easily through the pore spaces of sand, our largest particle, but not so easily through clay. Think for a minute about a clay pot that holds water. There's a reason that it can hold water, and that reason is because these tiny soil particles are compacted so tightly together that it's difficult for water to pass through them.
Most soil types are made up of a combination of the 3 particles. The best soil type for growing plants is called loam. Loam is a mixture of the 3 particles in roughly equal amounts. This soil retains just the right amount of moisture that plants need to grow. Do you know where we get soil? Did you say dig it out of the ground? Well, that might be true. Soil is formed over long periods of time for other materials on the earth. Soil is made up of 5 ingredients: minerals, organic matter, living organisms, atmospheric gases, and water. And it takes 500 years for 1 inch of topsoil to form. Did you know that 1 teaspoon of soil can hold up to 1 billion bacteria and other soil microorganisms? Not all bacteria and microorganisms are bad. In fact, these organisms consume the organic matter such as grass clippings, dead plants and animals, and fallen leaves to keep the soil healthy. Healthy soil contains plenty of organic matter that encourages plant growth. Another word for organic matter is humus. Humus is formed by the decomposition or decay of leaves and other plant material by the soil microorganisms, and it typically makes up the top layer of the soil that has been covered in vegetation. Soil has layers or horizons in what scientists call the soil profile. The top layer in many soils is the O horizon. It is mostly organic matter such as decomposing leaves. The O horizon may be thin in some soils, thick in others, and not present at all in others. Next is the A horizon or topsoil, which is mostly minerals from the parent material with organic matter incorporated or mixed in. It is a good material for plants and animals to live in. Subsoil, or the B horizon, is rich in minerals that have leached or moved down from the A horizon and accumulated there. The sea horizon is the parent material, or the deposit at Earth's surface from which the soil developed. This occurs through weathering and erosion, which is the process of wearing away a surface through wind and water moving across it. Finally, at the bottom is the R horizon, or bedrock, which is a mass of rock that forms the parent material from some soils, if the bedrock is close enough to the surface to be subject to weathering. This is not soil, but solid rock. Sometimes the layers may be different colors and may be easy to see. However, many times they are not, but all soil is important. Soil makes us possible. How? Well, all of our food depends on soil in one way or another. Fruits and vegetables grow in the soil, and we get milk, cheese, and meat from livestock that eats the grass and grains that grow in the soil. Also, a lot of our clothing is made from cotton, which is, you guessed it, a plant that grows in the soil. Now you can see how important soil is to us. But soil can be made unhealthy by the things we do. If the topsoil is allowed to erode away, plants may not grow on what is left behind. So soil needs to be kept covered by plants or mulch because the roots hold the soil in place and the mulch helps prevent it from being blown or washed away. If the soil is compacted or pressed down really hard by lots of machinery driving over it or people walking on it, water will not infiltrate very well, and the soil microorganisms cannot survive. Overuse of chemicals such as fertilizers, pesticides, and herbicides can kill the microorganisms that work so hard to break down organic matter that releases minerals and nutrients for use by plants. It's up to everyone to keep our soil healthy and in place. All landowners, both rural and urban, can help by keeping the ground covered. They can also help by not over-applying fertilizers and other nutrients. These are necessary to make plants, crops, and lawns grow, but overuse pollutes the environment and wastes money and resources. A soil test is important to learn what nutrients your soil may be lacking before applying them. You can find more information about soil sampling and analysis on the Steuben County Soil and Water Conservation District's website. Now that you know how important it is, can you imagine a world without soil? It would be hard to grow the plants we need to survive, so it might look like this. If we all do our part to protect the soil, it will reward us with many years of plant growth and production. For more information, check out the Steuben County Soil and Water Conservation District's website or the Purdue Extension Education Store online.